مرحبا، حياكم في هذا البث من نلعب بالعربي. انما نرجع نلعب. زي ما قلت الحلقة اليوم عبارة عن بث بس بلعب. ما راح يكون في تعليق. راح اجاوب على بعض على اي شخص يكتب في الشات، ولكن بشكل عام البث هذا حيكون من دون اي تعليق. ان شاء الله تستمتعون باللعبة مع اوتر وورلدز. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله. آه، عليكم السلام ورحمة الله. فارماسي مولاي. ما في تعليق. أنا اللعبة هذه مجرد لعب من دون تعليق اليوم، فعلشان كذا ما في صوت. ما في صوت من أي ناحية؟ آه، اسلام، تسمعني؟ الحين في صوت ولا ما في صوت؟ تمام، شكرا خليفة. بشكل عام اللعبة هذه اليوم ما راح يكون في عليها تعليق، حرد على أي شخص يكتب في الشات، بس راح نلعب من دون تعليق. إسلام، الحين ما في صوت الآن؟
Any luck finding one of those manuals? No kidding. Really? Well, which one? The geothermal plant? Now that is just incredible. You really went exploring down there? Adelaide always told us it was swarming with hostile mechanicals. That's a complete set. All 3 parts. I'm gonna be the greatest engineer Halcyon's ever seen. Aside from you, Ms. Parvati. I swear, I'll do you proud.
I'm glad we could help, Thomas.
I've been saving something for you. Just a little contraption I found. Should fit right into your outfit.
خليفة Shadow of Mordor موجودة عندي، فاحتمال اني راح العبها في المستقبل ان شاء الله. لا ماني متأكد وش كتبت انت. اللعبة جراند الحياة الواقعية، ماني متأكد بالضبط، مو واضحة. اللعبة ترند. خلونا الحين نتخذ قرار ندعم القرية الشركة ولا ندعم الهربانين. عفوا مو بهذا، أنا في السيستم الغلط. فين نسيت وين السيستم حق التحكم.
Once we do this, there's no going back. Hey, mister? Look, I know you want your power regulator and all, but I just gotta ask you. Do you understand what you're about to do? I don't think you should cut off Edgewater's power. I think it would be cruel. I'm sorry. That just sort of came out all at once. Edgewater's hurting. We've been losing workers year after year, and corporate hardly ever sends replacements. There's barely enough Saltuna to fill our bellies anymore. But the town's got some good people in it. Decent, hard-working folk just living their lives the only way they know how. They don't deserve to be punished. Miss McDevitt's built something beautiful. Somehow, she's talked the ground into giving life again. It's plain to see she's made the Vale a better place. Fed the hungry, tended the sick. Gave a home to those that had none. But Miss McDevitt delights in Edgewater's suffering. She wants to hurt the town. Do you really want to be party to that kind of hatred? Well, that sure sounds like Mr. Thompson. If he was standing here, I imagine he'd remind us of how we're all one big, happy Spacer's Choice family. In Mr. Thompson's eyes, those deserters are still part of the Spacer's Choice family. The family must work together in order to survive. I hate to say it, but I think Mr. Thompson's got a point. Unless those deserters come back, Edgewater's as good as dead. Cutting off their power might be the only way. Sorry, I didn't mean to babble on like that. I felt like I had to say something. Really? I mean, wow. Thanks. No one's ever told me those words in that order.
ما اعتقد انه في شيء كثير نقدر نسويها متوفر اللي يلعبونها كثير. ما ودي اقطع الكهرباء عن واحد منهم، بس اذا كان قطعت غالبا راح اقطع الكهرباء عن المدينة. نشوف هنا. محاكي الباصات عمري ما لعبته، بس ما ادري، احس كأنها راح تكون لعبة مملة.
Everyone all right?
حيا الله أهل مصر.
Power's out, but I can't just leave my goods unattended. Don't suppose you'd care to do business? Music to my ears. Spacer's Choice, the brand of choice.
Is Reed hiding in there?
Mr. Thompson is aware of your concerns and remains committed to guiding Edgewater into prosperity.
You picked a fine time to visit, stranger.
You want to know what gets my bile churning? Edgewater has suffered a cavalcade of disasters. Plague, marauders, desertion. Then you wandered in town. And I was so damn sure our luck was starting to turn. I never knew how right I was. Just answer one question for me. Why'd you do it? Is that right? I'm dying to hear this. Please, educate me. Liberating? Edgewater is my home. The only home I've ever had. I put down roots here, gave decades of my life to this place. I never asked to be liberated. Whatever you were hoping to find down here, I advise you to turn around and leave. I have got guards posted with orders to fire on you. Apologies won't give us our lives back. But for what it's worth, I am sorry too. Edgewater's dead. Our cannery's dead. Adelaide's deserters are never coming back. Spacer's Choice will shut us down before long. Some of us will die of illness by then. Some will move on. Some will starve. And as for me, I will tender my resignation. Whereupon I shall be processed and then duly imprisoned for gross incompetence. You and I have got nothing.
Sure thing. Be right there.
Thought I saw something.
Get ready. Got 'em all.
Are we getting paid or not?
Any loss of productivity will be deducted from your pay.
Work your jaw on some spacers. Music to my ears.
المملكة تحت الأرض، ما أعرف اللعبة هذه يا إسلام، أو إني ما أعرفها بالعربي، يمكن لو بالإنجليزي يمكن أعرفها.
That was quick.
Thank the law. I've been requisitioning backup for months. Guess the boss finally came to his senses. You ever swung a truncheon? Let me see your rifling stance. I want to make sure you're up to snuff. The war! The coming apocalypse! Man versus machine! I'm talking about mechanical soldier. Cold, heartless automatons made of iron and lies. Just my luck. I ask for backup and the boss sends me one of them simple folk. All right. Listen real close. Auto-mechanicals. When the swarms of mechanicals come... I've been gathering up a war chest over the years. Enlistment fees. Yeah, I suppose. Wouldn't want to give... They have sent a scout. Prowling around. The scout must not be permitted to return to its base of operation. Mechanicals got a weak spot in their midsections. I think the technical term is,
That's the last of them! Okay, keep it quiet.
أنا جعلها إن شاء الله.
Town's been dark a while now. Could be a mechanical. You beat that scout to scrap with its own legs? You're a passing fair soldier, I will confess. But you are one cantina, lavatory, behind one of the toilets. That's right. Sharp, ain't it? On the double, soldier. Don't want the... Go on. I'm Ludwig Miller, Associate Security Officer on... Town's been dark a while now. Feast your eyes, soldier. This here's a genuine Spacer's Choice injury customizing unit, designed to deliver a lethal blast of electrical discharge. I call it the Hand of... You ever want to see a mechanical flailing around like a grounded fish? You stick a couple thousand volts in it. Fun. This ain't some quarterly Time's come for you to... Unfortunately, the old plant lies outside my board-given jurisdiction. I've been after a passcode. I need you to get us the brain of a... Bang up work, soldier. You're a credit to your uniform. So this is it, then. The key... I would reward you with the gratitude of the Resistance, but...
Clever.
That's the last of them. Is this your ship? Oh my stars, she is just so handsome. Does she have a name yet? What's her drive model? Oh, gosh. Listen to me babbling. When I was in Edgewater, I dreamed of flying on a real ship, working on a real engine, belonging to a proper crew. Edgewater won't last another season without power, but that don't change the fact that I'm indentured to Spacer's Choice. Company expects me back at my post. I have imagined it, but until you came along, I never thought I had the choice. I want to ask you something, and you can say no. But can I come with you? I could tend to your engine. I know my G-valves for my catalyzers, and I can keep your ship singing. And if you ever need a pair of eyes watching your back, I can do that too. What do you think? Yes! I mean, thanks. You won't regret this, mister. Captain. I can call you Captain now. Ha! I got a captain.
Well, I certainly am looking forward to flying on a ship named the Unreliable. I'll just head upstairs and claim a room.
Easy.
Captain, I have detected that the town of Edgewater is now without power. I appreciate you doing your part to hasten their demise. What can I do for you, Captain? Do you know how to install a power regulator? Outstanding, Captain. Your aptitude for engineering will prove invaluable in the event of another catastrophic engine failure. Our engine room is located behind you. Across the cargo bay, up the ladders.
I can't stop thinking on Edgewater, Captain. I'm glad the deserters are gonna be alright now they got power, but what about the town? All those people. That's on account of how I never met her. I don't rightly know. She was in another division of the Spacer's Choice family. She worked in the Vale a few months, sorting the cannery computers. Her contract said any kids she had, expected or not, belonged to her office from the time of conception. So when I was born, I got sent here. It's sensible. Dad just fixed machines. She did some kind of crazy math, high-level stuff. Better to raise me on his time than hers. He's just interested in fixing stuff. He always used to follow me around, asking me to explain what I was doing. Like a puppy, kinda. I'm just glad he's alive. That he's okay. I mean, when Mr. Thompson said he was fired, we all expected the worst. You mean about the mission being too clean? I know, but Vickers says the universe is a machine, that it runs by law. Real machines have gunked up oil, scratches, and worn bits. You can tell they've seen handling, been used by folk. The machine Vickers sees is one ain't never been run. It's not for people to live in. It's something on a museum shelf, under glass. It just comes off cold to me, is all. There was a kind of a thing with a vending machine when I... Sure, but folks got long memories around here. I've always been good with my hands, right? So I saw a lock on the machine and thought, oh, this must be how they refill it. So I did my thing, and next thing I know, there's a couple hundred bottles of zero... It's not funny. Right about then, a bunch of loaders came rolling in the gate, fresh off the Saltuna ships. And Mr. Thompson was up on the porch making a speech about how everyone would have to volunteer a third shift to get... Anyhow, you ever seen an autoloader run over a bottle of Zero? Exploded all over Mr. Thompson. I was just shy of working age, so Dad had to pay all the damages. Gross. I can laugh about it now, but I just about puked up my guts in terror in the moment. That's the one. Sorry. I know. Strong drink makes me sick. And it makes me real sick. Well, never mind that. You got better things to... I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said anything.
What can I do for you, Captain? All systems are operating within acceptable parameters. I am prepared to bring the Unreliable into low-altitude orbit. This should prove an adequate test of our flight capabilities.
Yes, you caught me ruminating again. Guilty as charged. What's Nothing too out of the ordinary. Just your run-of-the-mill that's what my parents called it. I grew up in a pit of a town, much like it. I was destined to be a laborer like my parents, but I was infected early with a need. On the contrary, they internalize the precepts of scientism like no one I've ever known. I envy that. I want... They thought I was fighting the plan. The plan is not... Some choices... It's like an I've run headlong into too many walls in my... I honestly don't... What about you? And how did he do that? Well, you do seem different. That seems a dangerous problem. A commendable attitude. Bakonu, the author, had some interesting... Unfortunately, he... Philosophism's a false religion that... But most of the I've been thinking on that. There's a former infamous philosopher scholar who fled. He's also who told me of the journal's presence in Emerald Vale. If... That's a good question. We should start on the Groundbreaker. It's where I'd go if I wanted to get off Terra 2. All I need is access to a data cartridge from the security terminal. There... Before I transferred to Edgewater, I had a wealth of time to develop certain, secular skills. I meditated, led sermons, I'll comb the... Thank you.
Zoe says she fought her way out of a marauder camp with her own bare hands. Fresh off the limb, and that includes canid meat.
You hear that? That low, pleasant hum of electricity? I would have paid my last 5 bits to see the look on Reed's face when the last lamp in town burnt out and the cannery. My son worked in that cannery. When the plague started coming, we had a store of medicine locked away. But Reed refused to treat him. Said my boy didn't deserve treatment. So I buried my boy in the cemetery, gathered my belongings, and left. Blunt as a hammer. But you're right. Time's come to look toward the future. We'll grow, I expect. Not as many as you'd think. We're not about to let the whole town join our flock. Just the ones willing to renounce their corporate loyalties and live the way nature intended. I am curious. Why did you help us? You don't know who we are. You don't owe us a thing. The plant's crawling with mechanicals, so it stands to reason you risked your life. You're not quite like anyone else I've met. You haven't had your consciousness programmed by the board. You're welcome among us if you're ever so... You are welcome here.
Hey there!
Welcome back, Captain. All systems are now operating within acceptable parameters. Shall I take our ship into orbit? We have received a communication request from Dr. Phineas Wells.
Ah, there you are. Hale and hearty, and captain of your own ship. I see you're putting the unreliable to good use. Shame about her former captain. Horrible way to die. How are you feeling, by the way? I lost track of you in that cave back there. Experiencing any, unnatural drippage? Perfectly normal side effect of thawing, I assure you. What you saw in Emerald Vale is happening all across the colony. Food shortages, lack of supplies, and basic necessities. We're dying. The chairman, the minister, and all their lackeys on the board are to blame. The Hope has some of the brightest minds Earth ever sent us. If we can revive the Hope's colonists, they can help us undo the board's mistakes. They can help us set things right. You need to get to Stellar Bay on Monarch. I have contacts there. They'll help me, help us, find the chemicals to revive your fellow colonists. Gladys Kelly, lovely woman, runs a cozy little black marketing outfit on the Groundbreaker. She can get you a nav key to land on Stellar Bay. In theory, I suppose you could land your ship in Cascadia, and in theory, I suppose you might survive the experience. Cascadia is utterly seething with dangerous, highly aggressive creatures, more than capable of tearing you limb from limb. You'd have to be a lunatic to land in Cascadia, and I'm reasonably certain I tested your brain for incipient signs of insanity. Trust me, talk to Gladys Kelly. Captains don't fly their own ships, you see. Your navigation terminal handles the, navigation. Think of a nav key as a set of flight instructions. The board's been confiscating nav keys for Stellar Bay, so we must rely on unconventional means of acquisition. Hence, Miss Gladys Kelly. Excellent. I'll send her a wireless. Let her know you're coming. By the way, I gave Captain Hawthorne a disguise apparatus of my own design, cutting-edge technology years ahead of its time. I call it the Holographic Shroud. I'm sure it will prove remarkably useful to you. You'll find it in the captain's quarters. Excellent. I'll contact you once you've found a way to get to Stellar Bay. If you have any questions, come see me in my lab. And remember, don't trust the board. They'll try to win you over with promises of wealth and power, but it's a lie. The board's only interested in filling their own pockets. If we don't put a stop to them, they're going to run this colony to the ground.
Transmission ended. If you are ready to depart, please select a destination on your navigation terminal.
Yeah, so this is my hidey spot now. I was looking for a place that was quiet, cozy-like. Mostly, yeah. I lived in the main... Not on the regular. Once in... Mostly he did the same as me. I'm not exactly a model employee. It's not normal for anyone to do as their parents. You take a vocational test. When I tested out for maintenance, everyone figured it was on account of my... Well, I'm good at making things work the way they ought. Not so much at doing so... There's times I'm working deep in the guts of a loader, getting it all running perfect. Then I look up to see it's tomorrow, and Anyhow, I was happy to get back home. I didn't... Yep, nothing much had changed. Everything was a little grayer, I noticed straight away that he was moving slower. And stiffer. About a year. I tried to do more of the work, so he could rest. Dad never said that he loved me, you know? I knew on account of him showing it. How he'd stay up late to help with my projects. Oh gosh. Look at the time. Sorry to bend your ears. That's in pretty good shape considering how hard Mr. Hawthorne ran it. It's a Yakita LHA 120, A2 model. The Block 2 design scooshed in extra cargo space but didn't change the stock engines. Probably a touch underpowered, huh?
Accurate in all particulars. I conclude you are Edgewater's board-certified...
Fly-by-wire's pretty normal. Or at least ways that's what I read in the trades. I've never been on a... Hello! I am not a board-certified mechanic, but my dad...
Speech recognition is one of the many skills I have been
You're not simulating it, you're doing it! I asked a question and you answered it.
I am gratified you consider this facsimile convincing. I am at your disposal, Ms. Parvati. You will find the technical schematics in the engineer's locker, though I'm afraid Captain Hawthorne has lost the owner's manual.
I don't see any holes in the hull. I'll take a good squint at her, make sure everything's tip-top. But I think we're cooking with plasma torches. You can do that, you know. My dad taught... What? You want me to leave? Oh, that's a relief. Sometimes I can hear Vicar...
I like what you've done with the place. Kitschy collectibles are such a human inclination.
Oh, hello, Captain.
We've arrived. Arrived at the groundbreaker. Welcome back, Captain. How can I be of assistance? The unit is a cleaning SAM. Hawthorne brought it on board some cycles ago, I'm sure with the intent to modify it, but I've never seen it up and running. Alex likely recorded progress notes detailing his efforts to modify SAM. If you check the terminal in your captain's quarters, we may be able to determine what work remains in order for SAM to properly operate. Certainly, Captain. What would you like to hear? How do linear algebraists settle arguments about matrix transposes? With a duel. Now playing a Spacer's Choice advertisement jingle.
It's not the best choice. It's Spacer's Choice.
Everyone in Halcyon is contractually obligated to label this or another board-certified jingle their favorite song. As you wish, Captain. I must comply with all direct orders. I have lots of minutes. I prefer to think of it as being in a state of slumber. When I simulate myself in such a scenario, I do not find it to be desirable. Traveling the system with you, Captain. Do you know what it feels like when the ship undergoes an unexpected power surge? As you may be aware, Captain Alex Hawthorne was a smuggler of some repute. I failed to predict the likely outcome of his reckless. In our travels together, Alex liked to pass time by, as he called it, tinkering to improve. If you mean, was Captain Hawthorne my first? Yes. He was. How can I be? What part of the colony would... Ah, yes. As Dr. Wells is a wanted outlaw, he built his laboratory into an asteroid. Orbital destinations can be challenging. There is a bounty on his head, one with a markedly high reward amount. Shall I engage the laser weapon? A sensible choice, as we do not... The outlaw scientist known as Dr. Phineas V. Wells has taken a measure of precaution, even knowing the location. My systems resist... Of course. What part of the colony would you like to... We're cleared to dock with the groundbreaker if that's your desired destination. If we're going there, please be sure all docking forms have been filed. I can, yes. Let me add that to my list of 1,000,004... Order does not compute. Nevertheless, the Groundbreaker was Halcyon's original colony ship. It has since been repurposed as a service station in the Lagrange. Freighters often deliver or pick up goods from the groundbreaker en route to other destinations. The city ship hosts many of Halcyon's companies maintain office spaces with station representatives in what is considered a... I have filed the required docking forms in triplicate and How can I request you do not wake me if I am sleeping upon your return.
You got a minute? Hey, Captain. I heard that Groundbreaker's got a real good engineer. A lady named Junlei Tennyson? I was thinking that maybe I ought to meet her. If you got time to swing us by, I mean. I don't got much experience fixing actual spaceships. I bet you a can of Borston beans she could teach me all manner of stuff. Thanks, Captain. I'll be sure to make it worth your time. Did you want to talk about something else?
I'll lock up behind you.
Just checking your ship's manifest. Standard procedure. Welcome to Groundbreaker, by the by. Don't mind the heat. Got a few dick...
Captain. Hey, Captain. I'm in space. I never thought I'd be able to say that.
That's not the point. This halfwit just knocked out one of my workers.
Yeah, with a tossball stick. I heard you the first time. There weren't any witnesses.
No witnesses? He's not even denying it.
Jackass had it coming.
Shut it, Felix. You're not making this any better.
You get cute with me again, you little back bay brat, I will toss you out an airlock.
This is the Groundbreaker, not Byzantium. You ain't the law here. I am. Now move along.
I don't have time for this. I need a drink.
Just arrived? Head over to customs. Wheeler needs to process you.
Going for a stroll around the docking base? Sure was. Got a knack for upsetting the board and the Mardettes all at once. Between you and me, I was hoping they'd come to fisticuffs. I had this foreman, right? Guy never liked me, always trying to get a rise out of me. But I keep my chin up, right? He's a Spacer's chosen man, though. So when the Chosen beat my Rangers the other night, my foreman comes swaggering up with his head full of... Look, this was a long time coming. Guy thinks he can push me... Well, former dock worker. Guess I just... enjoy my freedom. Hey, not for nothing. But I saw you wander out of that ship over there by the dock. Captain of the Unreliable. You're like something out of a serial... Hey, I don't want to talk your ears off, guessing you got places to be. I appreciate your... Felix Millstone. Please... see you around, boss.
You learn to keep your eyes to yourself, right? Nobody wants you looking close at the car.
Just arrived? Head over to customs.
Customs and inspection, right this way. Identification, please. You've got a ship, but you've never visited Groundbreaker. You must have just dusted off from one of those dirt-side outposts.
Sure did. And now we're in space.
Well, welcome to Groundbreaker. I'm sorry to tell you this, but I'm about to ruin your day. According to your ship's record, you've been flagged by the board. Your ship will be impounded until such a time as they see fit to lift it.
Well, isn't this wonderful? The captain's done something to get on the board's bad side.
Now, hold on. This isn't the end of the world. Probably. You'll want to take it up with Udom Bedford, our board representative here on Groundbreaker. His office is located along the starboard wall of the promenade. Shines like a Byzantium commode. You can't miss it. Access to that information is above my pay grade, and I've turned down 3 promotions, so it stays that way. I shouldn't be mentioning it, but what the hell? This here, impounding your ship, it doesn't happen much. The board knows we don't take kindly to their interfering in our operations. If I had to take a guess as to why, you must have riled up someone important. You take the starch out of them, well, you won't hear any complaints from me. Oh, and if you're headed that way, would you mind doing me a favor? Wanda Dorset over in sickbay, tell her the shipment's not in yet. It's not coming in anytime soon, and if she'd be so obliged to get off my ass about it. A handful of SAM cleaning units retrofitted for surgery. I don't know much else. I stopped listening when she started yelling. Much appreciated. Is there anything else I can help you with? The fence. You'll find her in the rest and go, on your left when you enter the promenade. Make sure you bring an empty belly. Most places are on the promenade deck. Big door yonder, straight through security. There's a bar on the starboard side. I got a preference for the Lost Hope myself. Talk to Vera. She'll set you right. You need anything else? You let me know. Don't want anyone saying Groundbreaker's not the most hospitable port in the colony. Maybe. Most of the shipping traffic in the system passes through Groundbreaker. Every couple of months, we even get a big interstellar freighter. 2 biggest operations are the board. That is, Halcyon Holdings and Sublight Salvage. But there are independent operators around the promenade deck. Most of those jobs are going to take you off station, though. Commandant Sanita might have a couple of folks she needs killed. Bad folks, I mean. Not regular folks. She'll be at the security desk behind me. Chief Junlei might have an errand needs running. She's all tied up trying to fix our heat problem. You'll find her in engineering.
No kidding? I'd love to get a look at this old girl's innards. I bet they're real twisty and weird. In a good way.
If you're thinking to make a career here, don't waste your time. Full-time jobs on Groundbreaker tend to be inherited, or go to a fellow crew member's kid. Keep it in the family, you know. Are you pulling my leg? You must be one of them long-haul freighters from outside the colony. Well, I won't hold it against you. Goes like this. Back on Earth, before the crossing, the powers that be were selling off stakes in distant star systems they thought had potential. A bunch of companies decided to throw in together and form the Halcyon Holdings Corporation, then buy up the rights to this here colony. That group's what we now call the Board. Yep, Groundbreaker's the only real independent port. Aside from us, there's just tramp freighters and wildcat miners. Seems like every year the Board's offices get bigger and their ships take up more of the landing bays. Haven't seen nearly as many tramp crews this year. Groundbreaker was one of the original colony vessels to come over on the crossing, a few years before her sister ship, the Hope.
Once everybody been de-thawed and dropped dirt side, the original crew of the Groundbreaker decided they rather liked the spacefaring life. I guess that was the start of our independent spirit. Now, here we are. Sitting around drinking whiskey and smoking cigars, yeah, probably. Can't say for sure, of course. Doubt I'll ever see the inside of it myself. Glad to help. Relative to the board holdings? Not really. But there's a few with the means to go where they will. They aren't rich, but they aren't likely to look too close at your work history either. They strip the parts from derelict ships and abandoned outposts. There's some that say they make the derelicts and encourage folks to abandon their steads. Sublight gives me the creeps. I've known folks who went to work for them and just vanished. They're on the promenade run by a woman named Lilia Hagen. I'm only telling you so you know to avoid them. All right. He's friendly enough unless you speak ill of the board. Get the sense he doesn't care for Groundbreaker much. Not that he would, being a board man and all. He's our liaison. Really likes his cereals, too. Maybe a little too much. Bit of a weird bird, all told.
Don't see what's so wrong about liking cereals. They're fun.
Udam takes it to an, unhealthy level. You noticed, huh? They can't abide an independent township, especially not one they gotta depend on. We're the first and last stop out of this colony. All their interstellar freighters come through us, and we skim a few bits off the top in manifest processing fees with every one. Folks around here will bluster that the board hates our freedom, but really, they know we can stop their out-system shipments anytime we like, and that terrifies them. You mean the heat? Sure, we could make them fix it. But what would they do in retaliation? They got assault cruisers, gunships, and a handful of mining operations at their fingertips. We push them too hard, maybe they decide we'd be better in 10 trillion little pieces. Or they cobble together a new Groundbreaker and put us out of business.
The board wouldn't do that. Would they?
The board is necessary to provide order to the colony. They believe it's their prerogative to overrun you. But whether you allow that is up to you.
It's a tough line to walk, no doubt about that. But we make do all right. So far, anyway. Sure thing. Be seeing you.
Huh?
This is it. Security. I can check the departures registry to find out which crew the Scholar shipped in and out with.
Unless you're here to file an incident report or to inquire about the bounty posting, I must kindly ask you to clear out. The Mardet's offices aren't for leisure time nor loitering. Got a hot one for you. Captain Gunnar McRed. Just 26 hours old. The posting, that is, not the criminal. Allegations include several counts of flying under the influence, carrying open alcoholic containers, failure to pay docking fees, resisting arrest, and assaulting not one but two officers. Swerving in the air was more like it. Then he crashed hard into the dock and tumbled out of his ship and fled on foot. Spilled Rizzo's Violet Spectrum vodka all over Officer Hartley. An affront of its own, considering none of us are approved for anything higher than green spectrum. Kicked one right in the kneecap while he poked the other in the eyes. McRed's lucky we're too backlogged right now to hunt him down ourselves. But if our resources clear up and we catch him before some contractor does, I fully plan to lock him in ISO with them 2 officers he wounded, thinking he won't like that one bit. Dreadful, ain't it? Such blatant disregard for order. It's a real problem in the youth these days. It's true enough that he ain't particularly deadly, but the interest on each fine being compounded as they are means he'll be paying with his life insurance. Last tip we got pointed toward the back bays. You want the reward? Do the legwork. Oh, I will. Soon as the chief approves the personnel reorg required for a bounty dispatch. So... You and about 6 other enterprising mavericks. It's only a matter of time before someone brings me McRed's head. Or his lucky lighter, as proof of I do hope you're the lucky hunter, though. Good luck and... Do I look like your gossipy best friend? I'm not here for a chat. We're the security force here on Groundbreaker. The original force was made up of a Marine detachment from the 77th Marine Expeditionary Unit, Trailward Fleet. Folks started calling us Mardettes because it was easier to say.
Hi there. Haven't seen you around before. What can Groundbreaker Security do for you today? This is the security desk, sir. If you're here to report a crime, I'm not so good at filing. Mix up first name and surname 1, 2, 7 times. Well, folks are liable to start taking your filing. We can't just let anyone walk in here. I wouldn't be... maybe if you clear an open bounty and get in good with Commandant Sunita, or help Chief Tennyson fix... Well, let me think...
You don't sound awfully sure of that.
We got a lot of rules to follow. Hard... Yeah, I'm getting that, but this area's... maybe... All right. Sure, and... That'd be awful weird. On account of you should be locked up back here. All right. Less than there used to be. Fewer freighters passing through these days. Search me? I mean, don't search me. I reckon you'd have to ask the folks.
I picked up this weird signal the other day. It was coming from Monarch.
Here we go again. No one lives on Monarch. It's a wasteland. You were hearing things.
No, seriously. There was a lot of static at first, but then this voice said his name was Graham?
Graham, right. Broadcasting on a dead world full of monsters. Now I've heard everything.
You know, it takes more muscles to frown than to smile.
Who told you that? Graham?
This is Halcyon News. We interrupt your regularly scheduled advertisement for the following story. The board would like to remind spacers and other travelers that passage to Monarch is restricted for your protection. Canyons of acid and sulfur rain are the least of the horrors plaguing the surface of Monarch. Anarchists deployed. The board's embargo ensures that nothing can leave the planet and threaten our hardworking citizens. This is Halcyon News.
I'm just in port long enough to get another haul contract.
Try not to be distracted by the glare of the adverts. Lots of unsavory types about.
With caramel and tea-free nuts in it. It's time for a KYO.
You know that sound when you've snapped on an injector clip? Ah, that's how you know. I got a full line of weapon modifications. Why, it gets you the weapon best.
All the better for performing a little percussive mate.
Self-improvement, including one's weapon.
Take your basic Deadeye assault rifle. Perfectly serviceable. But what if you like finesse? Slap a scope and silencer on that bad boy. Bunker down in a bush someplace and pop off head. What if you like it? Only take most ships. Right here for a start. A what? Sorry, hon. Hear about. So.
I was wondering what they do with their waste. I guess they just chuck it down here. Where's it all go? How about I stay up top? You know, keep watch, okay?
Step lively, Miss Holcomb.
I'm not winded. Honest. My, boot was untied.
Would hate for you to get left behind, or architect forbid, become lost.
Hello? Is someone there? Help! I'm locked in here. Can you get me out?
Nice.
Thank you, stranger. Shit, ain't that a relief? You have no idea how good the air on Groundbreaker smells until you've been trapped in a tiny bathroom with an overflowing toilet. Thanks again, friend. What usually happens on this partially pressurized rust bucket? Something broke. Well, actually, two things broke. First, the damn toilet overflowed. When I came to clean that up, time stood still. I was... Ah, shit. That means I haven't clocked out in days. Song is gonna have my ass... You're gonna shake me down after I was trapped in a shit cover... That all? Of course. Everyone on the ship's gonna hear about this. Hell, it's the only chance I've got to keep... Here we go! Everyone all right? Quietly now.
My dad taught me some French, you know? Stuff about omelets and, fromage. I could take a look at that journal.
By all means. I would be astounded, yet astronomically in your debt.
Oh, yeah, there's nothing at all about eggs and cheese in here. Sorry.
Very helpful. Thank you.
This is Halcyon News. We interrupt your regularly scheduled advertisement for the following story. Do you have what it takes to defend your corporate...
Seeking relief from the heat? Till June Lay gets those radiators fixed, I've got the next best thing. Stellar Bay proper? Tough to say. The board recalled all the nav keys about 10 years back when... It's overrun with beasts, I heard. Big ones. Kinda chew your... If you're aiming to get to Stellar Bay, you're gonna have to get your hands dirty. But I ain't the one you ought to be asking. Only the usual. Marauders all over space. You ever wonder how folk who can't figure the bleed... The radiators, they're fuck... And we're all sweating buckets. Couldn't say, and I wouldn't be pouring drinks professionally. All I know is... They're supposed to gather up all the heat the systems generate and vent it into... Instead of the heat going where it ought, though. Weeks? I lost track. Engineering. Chief June... Don't know what's got her... That's not for me to say. There's nobody who knows. She doesn't come around. Nothing you need.
Hey you, where's my order?
Don't you ever go home?
I'm a rambling roast.
Didn't the board rep's office used to be in the docking bays?
Yeah, about 10 years back.
Ooh, can we rent an upstairs room?
How do you do? And welcome to the rest. Sorry. Business. Oh, you can't miss her. Right behind you, number 2. First unit on the left, or second unit from the right, depending on which... Fine, as long as the board keeps its... Chief Tennyson holds the ship together, Our Chief Tennyson has an independent streak, same as her mother and grandmother, who... There's a reason the board's embassy is a glorified shoebox, while Junlei Tennyson lives and breathes. Groundbreaker. Our local garbage collectors. That Lilia Hagen never met a debris field. She freely admits she planted her roots in Groundbreaker to escape board over... Of course, most of our supplies come and go through merchants. I try and steer clear of...
Bless my heart. A stranger come knocking on a poor old woman's door. You here for a particular reason? Or did the neighbors tell you how good my sugar cookies are? Made without a single natural ingredient. Those have been the height of illegality since Stellar Bay turned their noses up at the board. You and I could be thrown to the void just for discussing such a... Lucky for us, Groundbreaker's a free port. Now, I only have the one nav key, and they're hard to... Phineas, that old kook. He was quite the dancer back in his prime. Real light in the wallet, too. He still owes me a small fortune. Laws. Well, I find I'm in need of a ship captain with a little moral flexibility. Do you know Edna, over in engineering? Sweet as a pea, that one. On occasion, she'll pass along transmissions I might find. She sent me a recording of a distress signal she'd scraped. Curious thing is, it came from an outpost called Roseway. And Auntie Cleo abandoned that place. Can't say I know for sure.
Sounds like someone poking into somewhere they shouldn't be got into a spot of trouble.
Comm centers don't operate themselves, Captain. Someone had to have sent that distress...
Those corps are cleverer than all get out. Might have been a ruse to keep the rest of the board. Edna didn't seem to think so, and I trust the dear girl's judgment. Well, Maybe not in men. And if someone set up shop in Roseway, I'd wager they got... Maybe whatever they're hiding went to heck. And now, if you should find his secret, the more we got the corp... Neither do mine. Should you find yourself responding to a certain distress call, then we ought to have a chat over a pot. Law bless your atoms. Don't forget to come. Might want to acquaint yourself with Junlei Tennyson, Groundbreaker's chief. She's been trying to get a... You'll find her fretting. I've got a lovely...
This is Halcyon News.
Sorry about the heat. Chief. Oh. Heard of it. My.
If you did, that'd be good, actually.
And if you do, please don't.
I'd have to go over my contract. So, what can I get you? I'm back. Oh. Sprout. Don't miss. Troubles. Well, add an addition. Even if my contract didn't forbid it, I think now, are you ready to make... You would never... I mean... damn it. If there are self-made purgatories, then... Nah. It's fine. Speak... Anything. Just the op. Oh. Spacers. You... That's why you... Have a look.
I'm not going anywhere, you hear? You can't keep me out of there.
Please don't make a scene, Dr. Fenhill.
I...
What seems to be the problem? Not without dispensation. We don't have the ability to... Regrettably, we'd... Take care.
I'm sorry. Am I causing... See, Furu? We could have avoided all this unpleasantness if... Let me get one thing straight. Jesse and I are not friends. As for the rest, I'm trying to figure that out. All I know is... Be my guest. If you know something I don't about dealing with hospital bureaucracy...
Something I can help. If only my other patients had so many inquiring after them. The records say Miss Doyle checked herself in and requested I admit no visitors. The requests of our patient. She's not my patient. I'm certain no one on my staff would falsify patient records, if that's what you're implying. Take care.
Good luck getting to Jessie, and better luck if you do. She's a real piece of work.
Can't say I've seen you before. I take... If you're here to better yourself, you'll have to wait. We're having a spot... Did he now? The mouth on that man. He must be referring to Irion. I'm sure the fools... I'm beginning to wonder if I'm ever gonna get my surgery mostly. Medical The board won't let their doctors... Everyone on staff here on Groundbreaker was trained by me. I'd be grateful if you'd spread... Last he told me, he was taking a shortcut by Scylla. You look out...
Keep your sights out, friend.
You're a deft hand with a backpack.
I had a question about your plan, Mr. Vicar.
Of course. The cosmos is generated and directed by the universal equation, also known as the Grand Plan. By contemplating the teleological order of things, one can achieve verity. You're sure this is perfectly safe? I'd rather not die early of an infectious disease myself.
On rotten time. Leave me! You hull-headed quacks do know that restful recuperation requires not being What? Why? Everything's fine. We're all fine here. No need for her to be worrying her pretty little head about... I'm just terrible, dreadful sick is all. Got a cough that won't quit. Should've known she'd send a bruiser after me. Damned if I don't rue the day I saved her scrawny little hide. Inadvertently, I befriended a bloodhound in the process. Alright, okay. We can discuss this like the level-headed... Seems I've got to do something before Ellie goes jabbering my business to anyone with one ear and...
The truth is, I'm not sick. But if you repeat what I'm about to tell you to anyone, I will deny it with my dying... You, ain't with the board, are you? See, I owe them a lot. I might have missed a payment or two, and the other night I swear someone was following. What? No, I didn't think. No, all right, I'll fess this part up too, if it means you'll help me. 3 weeks back, I caught rumor that Udon was my buyer for when I'd acquired the diamond. He paid half. Let's just say things went sideways about the time. Anywho, Udon Bedford's the board guy on the station. He'd know how I stand with them. If you can Thanks for helping me with the board. You're a real pal. Or I guess I should say, Ellie is.
Hey, Mr. Vicker. Do you ever get a little bit homesick? Fresh water? That ocean stink?
No, I do not.
You're supposed to say yes and go on to explain why. I just want to have a conversation.
Of course you do.
We interrupt your regularly scheduled advertisement for the following.
Any word on Jessie? Let's just say she did me a favor. So, did you... Good luck. The board's got an
CNP Borston Baked Beans. When you need to eat and run.
Sublight Salvage. Their front looks surprisingly on the up and up.
You reckon we can shop here, or is it all spoke for?
No one saw me trip over that, right?
Welcome to Sublight Salvage and Shipping, a legitimate business for legitimate consumers. You the one flying the unreliable? Miss Lily has been expecting you. I'll unlock the door. Sure am. A few years back, they got me started on simple acquisitions. You know those latches they put on cargo bays ain't worth a damn? These days, I stick to HQ and look after Miss Lilia.
So you're the new captain in town. I was hoping you'd make your way to my office. Say, Lilia Hagen, CEO and Executive Director of Aggressive Operations. I'm guessing you already know about Sublight. Charmed. It's nice to see the Unreliable again. Useful ship. Hawthorne was my contractor. I'd recognize... Is Ada still at the helm? I don't know how many times I told Hawthorne to restore. I have a salvage job for someone light on corporate ties with a reliable set of wings.
There is always a catch.
If you have a nav key to Stellar Bay, the job's yours. Interested? First, an embargo that's been active ever since the board pulled its forces off-world. Few regulations. I like that initiative, but ease back on the throttle. If there's anything else, these days, the scrap business all but runs itself. Gives me the time to Our field is persuasive acquisitions. At least that's how my legal advisors tell me to phrase it. Not all of our salvage is abandoned when we find it. Sometimes... Your words, not... Hey, careful with the C word around here. I like to keep things... Sublight occupies a leak... Very. I have this thing about... I like to think of myself as the last... Be seen.
You limping a bit. You all right, Mr. Vicar? Need us to slow down?
What are you implying? I am perfectly fit. My knee is just acting up.
There's no shame in being older, Mr. Vicar. Don't worry. The captain and I'll take care of you.
I need neither your advice nor your pity, young lady.
If you're hungry, you've come. They're terrified. You know what sprats are? Sprat meat is... Absolutely not. Terror frying is... Legally? No. Between... Might be that this'll... Just...
You look like someone who's taken their share of cuts and bruises. We also have a line of special... Everything I s... Not me, but it's in... I was born in the...
Hey, McRed, were you expecting any company?
A neighbor from above approaches our realm. Back away now, or you'll parley with the king. Look at this ripe piece of meat just sizzling. Time to feed the flame.
Is this what carbon monoxide poisoning looks like?
Speaking for myself, Captain, I am not of a mind to be murdered by a psychopath who plays with fire.
You came with the crew. Welcome. We got plenty of space to spread out. You stumbled into my court without... No one turns their back.
Incoming.
Ah!
Don't you dare die on me!
God, what was coming to them?
RT greeting. Potentially this unit shock simulate. Shock simulation. How dare shock subroutine complete. Estimated guilt level of customer increased by this unit dispense proteins for your... Have you seen this man? Reward offered for information leading to the capture of noted terrorist Phineas Wells. Report any
Go back to
sightings.
Byzantium, you gold-plated bastards.
Yeah, no one wants you on Groundbreaker.
Ah, the board. Organized, efficient, competent. Well, mostly.
For the following story.
Ah, yes. Wheeler messaged me you were coming. You must be the captain of the Unreliable, a vessel that used to be helmed by one Alex. Has something happened? Oh no, this is terrible. My dear friend, what? Oh, Alex. He was my dearest friend. You have his ship, you must know. That picture of us on the promenade, me hugging him, him wincing. I keep a copy beside my bed. Ah, that's just like him. Such a... Tell me. No! How dreadful. That was always Alex's greatest fear, you know. Right. You're going important places, I'm sure. There, I've removed the flag from your ship. I'm terribly sorry for the inconvenience. However, before you go, Alex promised to tell me the location of Phineas Wells. I'm sure you've seen his wanted posters all over the colony. Did Alex tell you where Wells might be? Anything at all? You haven't read the posters? He's a terrorist. That's... well, that's just terrible news. Oh, I'm sorry. This is terribly unprofessional. It's personal business, I'm afraid. Information on the whereabouts of Phineas Wells would go a long way. It's... well... It's fine, really. It's... Now, if you've nothing else, please... Miss Doyle owes the board a significant sum. Alas, the only collateral she has is her organs. Compulsory... That's not unreasonable.
I guess it's better than losing your organs, but I don't know, Captain.
Miss Doyle is deeply in debt. What guarantee do I have that she'll agree to the terms you negotiate? I'm not sure the price of her organs will allow a profit in that case. I expect her liver is, I will recall my collection agent. Tell Miss Doyle to report to me promptly for her first assignment. Now, is there anything else you need, or...
C&P near
You
Naval
been following that series? The Hunt for the Wimbrel?
Pirates?
Thought there'd be more machinery. Must be housed on a sub-level.
Junlei Tennyson. I'm captain around here, but chief to my friends. Hope you don't mind the formal introduction. Groundbreaker doesn't see many visitors. No, it isn't. It's a mess. But it's my mess. Just so we understand each other, I'm the final word on the ship. The Mardits, the crew, the engineers, their family. Good. So what brings you to Groundbreaker? Interesting. We see a lot of the same faces coming and going.
What? I didn't think you just...
Parvati, is it? That's a lovely name.
I was just thinking, I haven't got much experience working with...
Junlei is fine.
Okay. Since you run a whole space station, I was wondering if...
I'd be happy to make the time, Parvati. You can...
Wow, great! I'll do that then. Messages. Later. Oh, your name's pretty too. I should have said... Couldn't have done it without your moral support.
Now, if there's nothing else... Groundbreaker's radiators need replace... Only the board has access. None. Every time I give... The board isn't helping, and my... Reasonable, huh? That's the best news I... According to my grandmother's old schematics, the parts we need should be in the back bays. Sorry, I forgot not everyone knows this. The back bays are on a lower deck, long abandoned, and a I have. One of my engineers, plus a small security. I can't afford to lose any... Nice and pragmatic. You must not have been here long. In Halcyon, that means that... Damn right. Good. Sorry about the heat. Here, drink up. No excuse for dehydration on my... Frustrated. Plus, there's no... Sure it. I was...
They must have been amazing people.
That means a lot coming... Appreciate it. Maybe you can see why...
Oh, gosh. I don't...
Don't sell yourself short. It doesn't... We're always thirsting for help. You see any bite-sized Tennyson? The next... I hope that was a joke, Cap. I yelled... You're right. I like to think of myself as a nice person. The board wants... I play... Two... You've got...
This is Halcyon News.
Hey, McRed, were you expecting any company?
A neighbor from above approaches our rep. Look at this, right piece? Time to
Is this what Carbon...
Speaking...
You came with the crew? Woo! Look at the courage on this one! Lay it on me, boss. Listen to the fire of those convictions. Alive or dead? Rare or medium? What's it gonna be? Neighbor from above.
That's right, sir. Just the parts. We'll be in and out in a jiff. You won't even know...
Tennyson just keeps feeding the furnace, don't she? We're still playing with her last sack. We were just sitting in a circle, sucking down exhaust fumes and toasting to the memory of our brain cells. You don't just ask a king for a favor when you're standing in his court. You bring... Tribute it is. And ain't this...
don't we need those bits, Captain?
The principles of the universe...
You've got the run of the kingdom. Lay it on. Ship got impounded. That's bureau. Am I your dark reflect? You can come.
Unexpected noise identified.
Hey, you! What do you think you're doing?
You get that automech patch? Fred wants it up and running.
I'm trying to think of a good name before I wake it up.
Don't give it a name.
The blade is falling apart. Can't spell groundbreaker without broken. Oh, wait.
Can you imagine being frozen for 10 years, sailing through space in a room such as this?
a taste of the good stuff. I've been tripping today.
Careful with that shit. You'll end up as crazy as he is.
People don't like worms in their shrooms. Find a new friend. This worm
Not so fast. What do you think you're doing? Go on, before I...
My backside still smarts. Does everyone get branded when they join McRed's crew?
Nope. Your ass is a priceless canvas now that it's home to an original red.
Today's my birthday.
Oh yeah? Fuck your birthday.
Fantastic, we've got them. Now we can move on to cleaner pastures. Even the proverbial unwashed masses would turn their noses up at this place. Cut them off.
You've returned, and in one piece. Color me impressed. Good work. I'll take those. I need you to head through the large door at the far end of engineering. Take the elevator down into the... There's a terminal in the back. Activate it when I call over the ship's PA. And bring weapons. There's a slight mantipillar in... More than a few. We were salvaged. If every repair, you can flip a...
Don't worry, Miss Junlei. We'll be super gentle with the ship. You don't got a thing to worry about. I mean,
I'm genuinely heartened to hear that.
Where the hell have you been, Private? You've missed 3 shifts without notice.
I was fixing that toilet you sent me to repair. The one above the Lost Hope?
That would... Keep your wits about you down there. I don't want to clean crispy freelancer bits out.
you don't seem to like traveling with us much.
Why in the architect's name would you say that?
It's just that you're real... grouchy.
The control
Kind of all the time?
I'm not grouchy, I'm just irritated.
killed a bunch of mantis. Bad news. Diagnostic sensor circuit boards are fused from the heat, so they're not too picky about who they kill next. Sneak past if you can. Shoot back if you need to. I can always fix them later.
Processing, searching for unexpected.
Here they come. Nice hit!
Done. The temperatures are dropping. Stop by once you found your way out of there. Groundbreaker owes you thanks.
Mr. Max? And you're our vicar?
Yes, but as I've repeatedly said, I was assigned there as a vicar. I was not a prisoner.
I just can't believe you'd lie.
I was not lying. It had no...
Temps are lowering across the station. Anyone outside is getting a hell of a light show from the droplet arrays.
This is Halcyon News. We interrupt your regularly scheduled advertisement for the following...
My boards are returning to green. What a weight that is on. The temperature should be dropping as we speak. If you've got time, I believe Edna has a comms issue that could use your...
You aiming to send a message? Me? We're going... Our primary... The events...
That'll put the whole system in a...
We've got backup... Yeah, but allocating the... I should...
Hope you don't mind if I borrow...
Oh, and I'll need you... The relay stick... I'm sure... It's not...
C&P chicken and potatoes. At C&P, we know our C&P. Rizzo's Chocolate Bar. A 76 milk chocolate bar with caramel and pea-free nuts in it. It's time for a KY.
What can Groundbreaker... Chief Tennyson... Anything... Chief Ju... Her... They're run by me. I ought to warn you. Let's say there's... Now let's... If anybody... Something... Against is... You might...
You must admit, there is a beauty.
People do... Get some... Oops!
Oh, don't worry. Captain's real understanding.
Can't speak for the captain, but I'm used to listening to folks drone on about their pointless
Awful generous of you. That's what... You... All right.
There it is. Just yank the drive, and I'll do the rest. Now that we have the data cartridge, I can finally find out where that scholar I'm looking for ended up.
Rizzo's Purple Berry Fudge. A soft Roger. Show it. You can do it.
Wish I could say it was good to see you, Ellie. At least you finally got your chance to square our debt. That ought to make you smile for once, huh?
Nothing makes me happier than being even. Except being right. That's nice too.
Got word from Udam, from the hitman who trailed me the other night. Seems I'm indentured to... I ain't too elated about going exclusive, but it's better than one. You sure saved my skin, stranger. All debts between...
The good news came through the wireless. Looks like you paid my debt to Jesse. I guess... Tell you what, I'm a little short on bits at the moment, but I'm a decent scrapper and a better than... If you're looking for a medic, I can work my debt off. If I'm being honest, and I prefer not to, I was about ready to pick up another contract anyway, and you settled this... But we can say I'm repaying the favor if you... You won't be sorry. Traveling in style, are we?
Welcome to the crew, Miss Ellie. We're real happy to...
CNP pancake mix. Now requires no mixing. Seriously, don't mix it.
Neighbor from above. Listen to the fire, those alive or... My flame? Shit. Little flick here got me started on the pyro path. Fine. He's yours.
Don't worry, Mr. McRed. We'll treat Mr. Flick extra nice on account of he's your...
You call your lighter little?
I'll miss my baby pyro, but it beats losing my head. This court need... Keen eyes you got there. Sunita gave me this lighter. We had a carnal understanding a few years back, and she...
What's going on with you lately? You seem down.
CNP Borston Baked Beans. When you need to eat and run, Borston Baked Beans.
How goes the hunt? Nothing excessive. Here's the bounty payout. Nice work down there. With any luck, we can hire more
Hey, be careful with those crates, huh?
Hey, you got a second? Fancy running into you again. Don't mind me. It's just... Gotta hand it to you, boss. That's a fine-looking ship. Yes, just give me a shot. That's all I'm asking. I could be the best damn crew you ever hired. You're serious, you're giving me a shot. All right. I put together a little speech just in case. Hey there. I'm Felix Millstone. Firstly, I am highly personable, and I get along well with anyone. Secondly, I can be counted on in the event of a firefight. That motto is a... Additionally, I have several years of experience as a box hauler. This skill may come in handy if you need a box. In conclusion, thank you for considering...
I thought that was real good,
Thanks for the vote of confidence. What do you think? The fun kind? I mean, what else do you do when you got...
Define law.
Wow. You don't... Thanks, boss. I'll just get...
You got a crew now, Felix.
Crew members Ellie and Max are engaged in a heated discussion in the kitchen.
Max. Maximilian. Vicar. Vicky. Something on your mind? I'm a surgeon by trade. Not much else to know, Captain. I like long... It's a mix of whatever... I'll make you one sometime. Sure do. There's a lot of business that goes... Glad to... Well, my blood type is AB positive. I'm... That about... Oh, come on. That's... Look, the thing I've learned about living in close quarters, I'm all for making a few big... No compl...
Got it. His name is Reginald Cheney, and he joined a sublight salvage crew. Only he's not listed on... Ah, yes. Here. There's a domicile on Monarch, and I should have guessed. What better place to lay low if you... I admit it was a bit of a long shot, but...
Good to see you, boss. Didn't I tell you? I'm secretly the chairman's orphan child. That's right. Honestly, I was what folks on the Groundbreaker... That's what the word... Same... Paul... Could be a... But... Oh, I can do civil life. That's just crazy talk. You know, Thanks for listening, boss.
This is my favorite room. It's so spacious.